Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewinski and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Overnight, Russian forces launched a massive strike against Ukraine, using 80 Shahed-type drones as well as 4 missiles alongside artillery strikes, all directed against Ukrainian soil. According to the Ukrainian Air Force, 52 inbound targets were destroyed by air defense. Now, the strike in Kharkiv wounded 6 people, including a child, and damaged private homes, cars and businesses. Turning to the southern regions, in Zaporizhia, 593 strikes on 16 settlements were recorded throughout the day, killing 5 people and wounding 9. The attacks were carried out using aircraft, drones, artillery and multiple launch rocket systems. Neighboring Kherson also saw artillery fire, which killed 1 person. 3 more people were killed and 19 wounded across the region in attacks throughout the day. In response, over 160 Ukrainian drones were intercepted and destroyed over Russian territory, the Kremlin's defense ministry announced. According to Moscow, the attacks were carried out overnight and local officials temporarily shut down mobile internet access in order to ensure security and prevent disruptions in the work of emergency services. Reports are saying destruction on the ground was avoided and there is no information about casualties at this stage. Meanwhile, Ukraine has carried out an unprecedented operation dubbed Spider's Web, which involved a massive drone attack on strategic airbases deep inside Russia. According to the Ukrainian media, the operation was prepared over the last 18 months and was personally supervised by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Now, Ukraine's security services directed the attacks against 5 strategic aviation bases all at once, with 4 of them being struck directly. The attacks in Murmansk and Irkutsk regions have been confirmed later on by the local governors. Alright, let's talk a bit more about why Putin is likely to suffer from severe arachnophobia from now on. 2 words: Operation Pavotina, Spider's Web. It's already being hailed as one of the greatest intelligence ops of all time. Ukraine really scored big with this one. Imagine being a Russian Air Force general. You use your strategic bomber fleet to launch missiles at civilian targets in Ukraine, but you're afraid the Ukrainians may, retaliate. So you think to yourself, what if I keep my bombers, say, 4,000 kilometers away from Ukraine? They are safe as houses, right? Right? Well, wrong. So horribly, horribly wrong. Take a long, hard look at this video to understand why.
Вот он, коптер опять взлетел. Откуда взлетает, ничего не понятно, блядь. Вот он, клоун, блядь. Оба ни с того ни с сего, сука. Оба! Вот дело, твою мать, до чего техника дошла. А нахуй мы работаем за рулем-то, блядь. Лучше он коптером управляй, нахуй. Груза в ответе. О, блядь. А это, менты сшибают его, прикинь. Это какой-то с автомата очередь. О, нихуя все дела, блядь. Оказывается, пидор, оказывается. Во, блядь. Менты промазали, нахуй. Он опять туда полетел, сука, в эту гущу, нахуй. Вот еще один, сука. Вот он, еще один.
But wait, there is more. Here is what happened. On the 1st of June, Ukraine has launched a massive coordinated drone attack against several Russian strategic aviation facilities. The target list included the Belaya airbase, located a staggering 4,000 kilometers away from Ukraine's borders. But that was not all. Want to see what happened at the Oleneya airbase, 1,800 kilometers north of Ukraine? The first drone struck that Tupolev plane with excruciating slowness, and then they just kept on coming in what some have already called one of the greatest feats of military intelligence in history. Wanna know why? Okay, so here's the deal. Those burning planes you just saw, Tupolev Tu-25s, codename Bear, absolute Cold War relics, first manufactured in the 1950s. These ancient bombers with their noisy turboprop engines are a bit of a big deal for the Russians, because they don't have too many of them, you see, and the last of them rolled off the assembly line in the 1990s. The point is, if they lose one, they can't replace it. So imagine losing a whole bunch of them in a single day. Ukrainian sources say over 40 planes have been hit during the operation, including a large number of Tu-95s, some say as many as 27. Other Russian aviation assets on the list include the Tu-22M3 strategic bomber, which Moscow also doesn't manufacture anymore, as well as the Beriev A-50 early warning aircraft, which at about $350 million a pop is super expensive. Plus, Russia only had about 10 before it lost the first two back in early 2024. See why Putin would surely be tearing his hair out right now if he had that much of them to begin with. So here it is, a masterpiece of secrecy, engineering, and long-term planning. 4 airbases struck in total. Operation Spider's Web. You know, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can, spins a web any size, catches Russian strategic bombers just like flies. Pretty expensive flies too. But the human lives saved by making it impossible for Russia to launch more cruise missiles against civilians, well, that is simply priceless. Now, on the Ukrainian front lines, sometimes literally every second counts. One Ukrainian unit experienced this firsthand when a Russian FPV drone rapidly approached their vehicle as they were driving. Their quick reactions probably saved their lives, as they managed to leave the vehicle before it exploded. No panic, no unnecessary movement, everything was done calmly and professionally. As a result, the unit took no casualties.
Летить спереді, спереді Всі цілі? Не заходьте. Летить спереді, спереді хуй. Залізли, хлопці? Заліз?
And with this, we conclude this episode of Military Mind. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.